All right, now let's take a look at the latest business headlines. To help with that, we're going to welcome some busy business women to our couch today. Former NASDAQ and business reporter Kyrsia Lenzo, as well as author of Women in Wealth expert Carrie Carbonaro. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, so later on So let's just jump right into the markets right now. So futures are slightly up this morning as well. They finished the day mixed yesterday. All right, so let's just jump into Walgreens. Will close 150 stores this year. The retailer recently reduced its annual profit guidance in part due to the decrease in COVID vaccine and testing. Carrie, I'm going to start with you. Is this a bad sign for the economy?
I would say yes. This is what happens when the Fed increases interest rates 10 times in a row. They are going to kill the economy. We're going to see more and more of these layoffs. We're seeing slower demand. We have student loan payments coming up where people who have not paid for all these years are now going to have to start paying, and that is going to really hurt people's bottom lines. So this is just the beginning of what's to come.
Ugh, not a good sign.
No.
Okay, so we actually teased this at the beginning of the week on Monday. So the 23 biggest U.S. banks passed the Federal Reserve's annual stress test, weathering severe recession scenarios while continuing to lend to consumer and corporations. That was just happening yesterday. So, Kyrsia, now to you. Are the big banks out of the woods yet?
It appears to be so based on this stress test. I think that we were all concerned about whether or not they would pass, but essentially a stress test is very similar to what we go through at the doctor, really checking to see if there's going to be a recession, if 10% of jobs are being cut. Essentially, what they're trying to do is put these banks through the ringer to see if they're well capitalized. It seems to be that they are, especially the bigger banks in comparison to the regional banks. JP Morgan, of course, is the most well capitalized bank out there. So it is a good sign. I'm glad to see that if we were to go into a recession, we would be prepared to handle it.
Yeah, so that was a good sign coming out of yesterday.
Yes, it is a good sign, especially given the recent news with SVB and all the regional banks.
Definitely, Kyrsia. Well, tens of thousands of flights canceled and delayed this week, and weather may only be part of the problem. Major staffing issues with U.S. airlines and the FAA are also to blame, industry experts are now saying. Carrie, is this sort of unpredictability in flying really just only going to get worse?
Unfortunately, the answer is yes. The FAA is a disaster right now. What we're seeing is they have shortages, they have bad technology, they are not making up for their lack of controls, and they want us to suffer, the consumers. They want airlines to cut their flights by 50%, which means consumers are going to be paying more and be stuck more, and it's just really unfair. And I truly believe that we should privatize it, get it out of the government, and have it run like a regular corporation rather than part of the government. That's my opinion.
That would be a great solution.
Absolutely. I mean, I know so many people that were stuck in airports over the weekend because of all of this happening. Luckily, I think a lot of them got their money back, which is a good thing. But man, these delays are they're just building up. All right, Bud Light is trying to rebrand itself yet again, kicking off its new summer marketing campaign ahead of July 4th. The campaign will include a summer music tour, as well as giveaways and rebates for fans. I believe they're also trying to get in touch with NFL players to try to promote Bud Light. Kyrsia, do you think the brand is going to be able to repair themselves?
They haven't been able to thus far. Every week, it's another 26% or so decline in sales. And they're basically throwing everything at the wall to try to repair their brand. And the main issue here is that consumers don't forget they alienated their base. Beer is basically a commodity at this point. It's easily replaceable in terms of the different brands. I mean, people are turning to Modelo. I don't think that this will be really successful at all. And they haven't even fired, or they claim they have not let go the marketing executives. Some reports are saying that.
I've heard mixed reports
on whether or not they've been laid off or taken a leave of absence, but nothing has really happened.
No, and I've seen signs of them trying to give away free Bud Light, and people don't even want it. So yeah, they're certainly still in some hot water. Well, DoorDash will begin offering its drivers the option to receive hourly pay. This in an effort to create a more predictable situation for those drivers who are obviously often stuck waiting long amounts of times for deliveries due to factors that are completely beyond their control. Carrie, to you, is this a fair solution for those drivers?
I believe it is. Those poor Dashers who get stuck in traffic and get stuck waiting for orders from the restaurants who are, taking their time or they're having to wait around. It's super unfair to them. However, the only issue is, which is good for them, but the problem with New York City is saying, our minimum wage is going up to $20 an hour. And DoorDash is saying that's excessive. We don't think we should pay it. So more to come on that. But it's still good for the Dashers overall, even if they don't agree with New York City's policy.
That's very interesting to say that they may or may not go along with New York City. Interesting. So Michael Jordan retired more than 2 decades ago, but his memorabilia is still obviously selling for a whole lot of money. Jordan's 1992 Dream Team jacket sold for $1.5 million at a Sotheby's auction just yesterday. Kyrsia, what's your take on this one?
I think that the Air Jordans in this case will go for something similar. They're saying it'll be about $100,000 to $300,000. I'm not sure. I think given the fact that we just saw the jersey go for $3 million, I think it will be around in the millions. So this is clearly such a memorabilia item. Michael Jordan, 1992, the Dream Team. I mean, this is the penultimate item, Air Jordans. I think someone will bid for this, for sure.
Definitely. Michael Jordan, he's my guy. I will always say he's better than LeBron James. I love Michael Jordan.
Me too.
Carrie Carbonaro, Kyrsia Lenzo, thank you both for joining us this morning. It was a whole lot of fun, ladies.
Thank you.
All right, well, they'll be back a little bit later to discuss student loan forgiveness and the big day ahead in business. But first, up next, we have Pennsylvania Congressman Dan Mueser. He's joining us.